estate agents. Welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. He is the man with the plan, and we are the Real Estate Marketing Maniacs. How's it going, Joey?
Doing good. What's going on?
Oh, we've got a great guest with us today.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely. That guest is Kevin Kauffman with Group 4610 at Keller Williams Realty Phoenix. How's it going, Kevin?
Good, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah, no problem.
This is awesome. You're going to share some great stuff with us. I know it.
Yes.
Because we talked about it a little bit.
That's a lot of pressure. I'm already getting nervous. Can someone check my pulse?
Yeah, no need. So why don't we start with how long you've been in business? What got you into real estate? How about that?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, so just over 10 years ago in June, I think June was my 10-year anniversary. So 2007, what I was told was the best time in the world to ever get into real estate. Actually, my business partner, Fred, likes to joke that I kept the real estate school open that year. I had friends literally trying to stop me from getting into real estate in 2007. That was interesting.
Were there quite a few people, though, in the school still?
From what I remember, there was.
I think there was.
I feel like
because I still think everybody was kind riding that whole thing.
Yeah, I think people didn't realize. I don't know how many people are left from the 2007 class, but statistically, not many.
Yeah.
So 2007, I got in. Actually, what got me into it is I was going back to college. I was going to school. I didn't finish college out of high school. I was just sort of like, this is not for me. I can't even put on shoes, so I don't really follow the norm. Okay. And I'd gone back to school. And all I knew is I wanted to do something. I wanted to work for myself. I couldn't work for, quote, the man anymore. Yeah. Couldn't work for a major corporation. And so I was going back to school trying to discover what I wanted to do. And I had this professor who, what I learned later is he was just giving back. He wasn't a full-time teacher, and it was a business course. And one day he walks in and he said, we're not going to talk about whatever's on the syllabus. We're going to talk about money, and we're going to talk about real estate today. And he blew my mind. I mean, mind blown. Had that moment in my life to where to this day, that was 2005 or 6?
Yeah.
2006. No, I'm sorry. That was 2005. So mind blown to this day. I get goosebumps right now talking about Professor Goodner. And so he goes through this whole thing. What I find out later is he's teaches to give back to the community. Yeah. And he is also able to teach some classes based on the Rich Dad Poor Dad books. Right. And they're accredited as well. So I take every class that he has to offer that he teaches for the next 3 or 4 semesters in a row. And I take every minute this guy will give me. And I realized I got to get into real estate.
Got to do it.
I had no idea what was going to happen. I thought I was just going to get a job as a realtor. I had no idea you could have a business. So, but he had convinced me I needed to keep working if I wanted to be in real estate for at least a few years to make money, because apparently you can't be an investor without money.
Yes.
And so that was a lesson I was like, okay, I got that one. I didn't mess that one up. So I got a real estate license because I figured if I'm going to work, I might as well work in real estate.
So now, fast forward 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Now you've got, you guys are in 7 states or something you said, right? I mean, you've expanded beyond Phoenix.
Yeah, so 7 states, probably 105, 106 total agents as of today. Wow. That's a moving target because, in our industry that sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. Right. But yeah, expansion. So we are in 7 states total. About a little more than 3 years ago, we expanded into Denver, Colorado with a gentleman by the name of Aaron, who is now what we'd call our regional leader, as we've kind of developed our model over the last few years for how we're growing our business. Yeah. And so we look a lot like other real estate teams from the standpoint of it feels the same. There's some people call them buyers agents. There's agents in our model. Our agents work with both buyers and sellers. Instead of them just being down the hall, they're just across state lines. Yeah. It really feels the exact same way. It still feels like they're down the hall. They just happen to be in another line. We provide all the same services. Everyone in our office is licensed in those states. But it's a different model. It's way more exciting for me personally, and I need excitement for sure.
Well, you get to travel around too now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't you go visit?
I used to get to, and now I have to. So you know what I mean?
Okay.
I definitely don't. Gary Keller said something to me about a year and a half ago. He said something to the effect of, if I have to go there, then it feels like a job. Mm-hmm. And I don't want a job. I wanted a business. Yeah. And so I don't know if that ruined me or what, but I'm much more ready to fly somebody to me, which we do a lot of. We still travel a little bit. I was in Colorado last week. And so we do some of that, but the reality is it's just, it's part of part of the evolving.
Right.
I can't go to 12 or 13 different locations 3 or 4 times a year like I would like to. In the beginning, though, heavy travel. I was in Denver, which was our first expansion, and then Nashville was our second one. I was in both places 4 to 6 times a year.
Yeah. So, wow. How about any expansions to the beach?
Oh man! So we are on the beach, San Diego, Orange County, and Pismo Beach, San Luis Obispo area. In fact, I'll be there Thursday for something different, but I'll be there. And so we are on the beach. Don't get to spend as much time on the beach when I'm there for work.
I'm thinking like Hawaii.
That's been brought up a few times recently. Is Hawaii? It's definitely an interesting market.
Yeah, we could fly and do some classes for you guys.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Oh, anyway, how about, I know before we started we were talking a little bit about technology. So I know technology is what's allowed you to have this type of an expansion too, right? Because like you said, it's like they're just down the hall, and technology allows that to happen. Where do you see technology in real estate going into this next year here?
Oh man, that's a great question. It seems to be like the hot topic, right? Everyone's worried about the offer pads and the open doors, et cetera. Right. Zillow, instant offers. Yeah. Is that what Zillow calls it?
Yeah.
And that's definitely a thing, right? And we all have to contend with it. What I find interesting is our industry as a whole, pretty antiquated, not a lot of technology, which is why we see so much of it trying to disrupt us now. And there is a lot coming in at the same time, and I think some people just don't know what to do. One of the things that Fred and I consciously made a decision to do a few years ago was embrace it and use it to our advantage. And it doesn't hurt that we both like tech stuff. Like I love gadgets. I love... I read a book a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, called Bold by Peter Diamandis. And if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it.
Okay.
And it changed changed our business. And it has nothing to do with real estate. It is all like high tech stuff that's way beyond anything real estate will ever do. But it changed the way we thought about our real estate business. And because of that, we've really adapted a lot of technologies.
Yeah.
And everything from the stuff we were doing on a low level, like capturing appointment data, right? I remember back in late 2012 or early 2013, what I like to call when I learned how to be a real estate agent, because we'd shifted back to a more normal market here in the Phoenix area.
Right.
And I started tracking how bad I was at listing appointments, to be frank with you, because I needed to know. I was used to getting every single short sale listing I ever wanted to get, and now I'm losing on appointments trying to get traditional listings, even though I had a better system and I had sold more houses and I could actually, I felt, represent the client better. I wasn't getting the deal, so I started tracking it. Well, now all 100 plus of our agents have this system. Now it's gone from a single spreadsheet to then it evolved into this giant mess of Google Sheets that with like 300 or 400 of them that were combined, pivot tables for reporting and stuff that our head of operations started creating once he came into the business almost 3 years ago. And so about a little more than a year ago, we made the decision to dump that data into a SQL database and then create an interface for us to be able to slice our data different and better the way we want it to.
Yeah, sure.
So we could learn more about it. So for us, when it comes to technology, I'm not worried about instant offers or Zillow or anybody else trying to get my ad money. I feel like if I do my job, which is getting in front of the consumer, as well as in my position in our model, get in front of the real estate agent who needs a platform and wants to plug into something that can help them succeed and ward off, the whatever. I don't want to make Zillow the bad guy, because they're not, in my opinion. To make the technology companies the bad guy, if I can help them utilize what's out there, then we're going to win. Right. We're at least going to win our game, and it's okay. You can actually have two winners, is what I believe. Yeah. So, I think I might have just gone down a rabbit hole.
No. So, I see what you're saying with the Zillow thing. Obviously, Zillow, OfferPad. I mean, it's not the same as you building a relationship. I mean, you're the face of
definitely,
right? And your team is the face of that, which is different than Zillow, just the big data company, right? Or the app that people have on their phone.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like if whether it's Zillow or any other app or whatever gets to the client before I do, that's my fault.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
It's my job to be in front of them, and so if they beat me to it, that's shame on me, not shame on them.
Yeah, for sure. So do you see and I do see this. So you're probably on the same page with me on this, but you say that the team model is probably something that's going to continue to grow in this industry instead of the individual agents trying to make it, right?
Yeah. So it could be easy for me to say this because we have a team and we've been working at it for 10 years. In February, it'll be 10 years that Fred and I have been working together. And so it's really easy for me to say that from the position now, but I genuinely believe that if you're not on a team in some capacity, like, you're done. And maybe not right now, maybe not next year.
Yeah.
But it's getting harder and harder to compete. I know how hard it is for a solo agent to compete with us because of the tools and resources we have when we combine, the resources of basically 125 people. Like, 125 can outthink, outsmart, outwit one person. And so it's going to be, I think, really hard for the part-timer and then the solo and then the smaller teams that won't allow themselves to grow bigger.
Right.
It's going to be harder and harder to compete as the next few years evolve technology-wise and things start to shake out in our industry.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you mentioned, so that's the data-driven model that you're going by. About the systems, you want to elaborate a little bit on the systems for the team?
Yeah, we're heavy systems guys. So there are, some internal, some external. We like to use, our CRM is Boomtown, which we love. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we love specifically the people there. Great relationships with the people at Boomtown. That's our CRM model. Some people would say, is that your lead gen model? No, that is a CRM. You can do some lead gen with it, but that's not a lead gen model. And I won't dive into lead gen so much because we're totally revamping everything we do. We think that what we do is good, but it's not amazing, and so we're gonna obliterate it in 2018. We are getting rid of anything that is mediocre or just good enough, and we've just hired someone who I'm really excited about, who I can't say their name, but probably by the time this airs, people will have seen the announcement already, and so we've got some good stuff in the form of marketing and lead generation plans for 2018. So that's good stuff. We've got most of our internal systems, though. We talk about communication. We're a heavy communication system. So everybody on the administrative side, the closing side, and the marketing side, like when I say marketing of listing side of our business is licensed in every state that we operate in. And the way we communicate with each other is this thing that we call our app, and it's our data. It's our database, so everything gets entered into it through a form that someone on the team has built, and that's how the data gets shared with one person to another or from one team to the other. Most of our systems actually go through our internal technology there that we've just designed over time. That used to be a bunch of spreadsheets put together as well as a bunch of WordPress websites with can't think of the form, but one of the plugins, for forms.
Yeah, for the forms.
Yeah. So now it's all in one place, luckily.
Ninja Forms.
Yeah. It wasn't Ninja Forms, but something like that, right?
Like that,
yeah. And so we've had a head of operations now to be 3 years in February that he joined us, and he changed our life. And I remember when we hired him, I wasn't afraid to hire him because my business partner's known him for, 15, 16 years. They went to college together. I had known him for over 10 years by the time I hired him.
Yeah.
But it was a big check to write. It was a really big check to get somebody at that talent level. It was the biggest check we'd ever written at that point. It was funny, as the day he showed up, it was the easiest check to write every day after that.
Wow.
Every other week after that, because I realized then for the first time is when we actually hired super high talent, it made everything else easier.
Wow.
And that's awesome. How we've been able to go from, when he came on board, I think we might have had 6 or 7 agents.
Really?
We might have been selling 150 houses. We sold 140 or 150 houses in 2014. By the time this month closes out, it'll be 550, 560, something like that.
Wow,
so it's been quite a ride, and he's been a really big part of that because he's taken all these ideas that we had and ideas we didn't have on the system side of the business and made them work. So I could go out and focus on what I thought was important, which was recruiting and lead gen. And Fred really focused for about a good year and a half on our training system. So we've got an amazing learning automation system, as well as hours and hours and hours and hours of not only video but written content in a training system. So when a new agent joins our company, and it doesn't matter if they're in Phoenix or Denver or San Luis Obispo or Nashville, it doesn't matter. They go through the exact same system. They get the same email. They go in, they create themselves an account, and then they start getting released into the different phases of training. So we've got like 9 or 10 different phases in total of training that everyone walks through, self-paced, that they get to go through before they can actually sort of come into the team, if you will, and actually start working. Cool. So really exciting stuff. That was kind of Fred's job. My job was to go build it, and he kind of made it work. I kind of make the mess, and he kind of makes sure that the mess can work.
No, that's really cool. And once you dial that system in, gosh, the onboarding process is probably Really easy.
The great part is that literally we could hire 20 agents tomorrow, and it wouldn't stress really that many people out in my business.
No, that's awesome.
To do it. Whereas it used to be a stress for even 1 or 2 people to start.
Yeah.
You look at all the paperwork for the brokerage, you look at the paperwork for the team, you work all the logins and IDs.
Yeah.
Now it's all automated for the most part.
No, that's awesome. So what do you think, before we go to the next segment here, what do you feel marketing-wise for 2018? What do you think is going to be a couple people need to be, they need to be focused on this, or this is going to be a big thing?
I think no matter who you are, no matter where your business at, if you've been in the business for 10 or 20 years, or you've been in the business for 10 minutes, I think social is a big piece of the game if you do it right, if you're willing to do it right. You and I were talking off camera because video has always been a big deal, right?
Yeah.
And I think that having a camera strategy, whether that's actually your mug, preferably not mine, on camera or whatever it is, I think their video has got to be a big piece of marketing in this day and age. And some people say, well, I don't want to do social media because I don't work my sphere. I'd rather work people that are cold. Well, I got news for you. You can actually do both of those things more effectively via social media as well. They could actually enhance what you're doing offline.
Yeah.
And so I think if you're not doing it, it's the same as saying, well, I only work by referral. Well, I say, okay, well, I think when someone says to me, great, what do you do for the other 90% of your business? Because you're missing out on a ton, so that way you can say I work by referral only. Like, what you're definitely doing other things if you're selling a lot of houses.
Yeah.
And so I think you have to have a well-rounded strategy, right? If you're just relying on one thing, like back in the day, if you were only short sales, like we were, if you were only REOs or whatever the case is, you only have one leg. Well, I got news for you. Things are going to change. They're always changing. Mm-hmm. Whether it's the market changes or Opendoor comes in and kicks your butt or whatever the case is, something's going to change. And if you only have one leg to stand on, you're done. But if your lead gen strategy has like 3 or 4 legs, you're still going to be okay. You're gonna still be stable. And so I think social is a big deal in 18. I don't think you can avoid it. It's got to be social driven, camera driven on that side as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Are you guys doing any Facebook Live stuff or plans for that?
A little bit, yeah. That'll definitely be a lot of the 2018 strategy. So as we've gotten to the point where we are, what we've done has been sort of good enough to get us to where we are. And back in 2009, 2010, when we were much smaller, and I would say more controlled and had fewer messes because it was a much smaller business, we could do a lot more of that stuff. And then you sort of get into the routine of, well, I'm in charge of recruiting and looking for talent and relationships, and Fred's in charge of the training thing and all that. Some of that stuff becomes less and less important. Not that it's not important, but it's not the priority. Right. And so we're now at a place where it's a big priority for us in 2018 from a marketing standpoint. So that's a big deal for us in 2018.
Good.
As well as a few other things, but that's at the top of the list.
Yeah, I think video, live, and then connecting those things obviously through the social platforms.
Yep.
It's going to be it.
Yeah,
How about Snapchat?
Funny story. So I got on Snapchat. Excuse me. I got on a Snapchat because my niece is on Snapchat, and I'm very close with her. She turned 18 yesterday. I went to Yuma and had lunch with her, and I got on probably 2 years ago. She must have been 16 when I got on, and I only got on so I could communicate with her better because she's not on Facebook, and she didn't have Instagram at the time, or she had it, but she just didn't use it very much.
Yeah.
So I got on it to talk to her, and she kind of, in a way, it taught me how to use it, and I don't use it effectively for business right now. It's definitely more of a hobby for me at this point.
Right.
And trying
on all the different filters.
I think it's important. I think it gets a bad rap because people don't want to. It's a lot. If you think about Twitter, when Twitter came out, people either got it or they didn't. Right.
Yeah.
They really didn't understand it, and so it got a bad rap because they couldn't understand. Why would you want to talk in 140 characters? They just couldn't understand that. And I think Snapchat has the same problem, having a hard time explaining why. Right. Because it's either intuitive or it's not. And so I think a lot of people dismiss it as a channel, but the reality is what I've learned by watching some of the people in the industry is it can be a very effective channel for marketing and branding no matter what business you're in.
Got it.
And it's definitely not just for 16-year-olds to talk to each other.
I have one just because my daughters will send me a text message that says, "Dad, I sent you a snap." And so then I go into Snapchat and check.
Yeah.
But there's probably something there for growing the brand.
Totally.
And I know with the younger crowd, that's probably going to be important. I don't know necessarily how many 50-plus baby boomers, 55 plus baby boomers are going to jump on there. But it all depends on where your audience is, I guess. Right?
Absolutely.
So, all right. So are you ready to get in the ring?
Oh man, this is the nervous part. Yeah, I'm ready.
No, not nervous. All right. Well, here we go. What's the best advice that anyone's ever given you?
The best advice anybody's ever given me. That is a tough one. Focus. It's simple. It's focus. I've had the very fortunate time to be spent with Gary Keller as my mentor for the last 8 or 9 years, and if there's one thing he's taught me, it's been focus on one thing, which is why my marketing program sucks, because I just haven't focused on it. I'm just being honest. The reality is all nothing, like it wasn't the priority, and so when things aren't the priority, quite honestly, they either have to get done by somebody else or they can't get done.
Right.
And so focus, but that's been the lever though that's helped our business grow 400% or whatever that is in the last 3 years.
That's
so
awesome.
It's I think focus is, if I had to narrow it down to one thing.
All right.
I'm curious, before you ask the next question, is how did you get Gary Keller to be your mentor?
Dumb luck. The reality was if go backwards in time to 2008, we started closing short sales and not many other people were, and just lucky. We did a lot of free classes, teaching a lot, and opened a lot of relationships. And one of those relationships thought that we should be put in front of him in this mastermind group, because it was mostly distressed people. So we go to this mastermind and it's like 75 REO agents and us, and all we've never done. Well, we're just these guys that can't even put on shoes who do short sales. And so we got in the room and just never left.
Wow.
And finally earned our way in, because we definitely didn't deserve to be in there at that time, in my opinion. But we've earned our keep since. And the lucky thing is, you keep asking questions. Gary's always looking for a student, and Fred and I are always willing to be the student.
Awesome. That's cool.
We're always willing to challenge what we think we know.
Yeah, that's cool. Did he influence the color of shirt?
No, I've always liked black.
Because he always wears black.
Yeah,
right?
he does. Yeah. But he wears Calvin Klein. It's weird. I know that, but yeah. So no, I like the simplicity.
Yeah.
Black's my favorite.
Yeah, I love it too. All right, how about your favorite mobile app?
Favorite mobile app? Can I look at my phone real quick?
Yes.
If I had to say favorite mobile app, of course the Face ID is not going to work while I'm trying to answer this question in person. So if I disqualify any of the social ones, because I love Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat, I'm gonna say Audible.
That's a good one.
That's a great one.
I'll go with Audible.
Yeah, that's a great one. A lot of top producers, that's their thing.
I like to.
That's great.
If I'm not listening to a phone, I'm listening to a podcast. So I just downloaded a new podcast app because I can't stand the app. I'm tired. I love Apple, so I don't want to say anything necessarily too bad about them. But their podcast app sucks. I can't stand it. It's so hard to sort now and see everything. So I had to go download a new one, so I'm trying one out now.
Maybe you have to let me know what it is.
Yeah,
I'll have to take a look at that one. How about a book recommendation?
A Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss.
Oh, Tim Ferriss.
So
that's a really thick book, isn't it? Or wait,
yeah,
that was his other one.
Yeah, they're all they get they're progressively thicker. I saw a picture where he laid out every book he's written, and it just gets progressively bigger. Like you could knock somebody out with this book.
Yeah.
But Tools of Titans was also very large.
The other one, yeah.
So this is similar vein, except instead of just being all podcast guests that he taken notes from,
right?
This was an email correspondence between him and a couple hundred people. Same 11 questions that he sent out to all these different people. And I mean, people from like Mark Benioff, the founder of Salesforce, to Tony Robbins, to Ashton Kutcher, which surprisingly was my favorite one so far. A guy named Adam Robinson, who is literally a genius, and so many other people. So same 11 questions that he asked them. And it's everything from like, tell me what's terrible advice you hear in your industry, or what's the best thing you've bought in the last 6 months under $100. Just different things like that. What's the book that has impacted you the most, or that you gifted the most? Questions like that, very simple, but also very deep on some levels. And then he just takes the random answers. Some of them some of those chapters are like 2 pages and some are 4 pages. And so it's these little tidbits of advice from these people who are like the masters of what they do, which is what made Tools of Titans good. Yeah. Except this was the exact same list of questions to everybody. So it brought a different, unique twist to it with more guess, if you will.
Got to get that. Is that on Audible?
I don't think it's on Audible yet. That's a book I would pick up and actually read the physical copy.
Sure.
Okay. All right. How about a productivity tool or software that you use on a regular basis?
Productivity tool or software. My calendar app.
Yeah.
I mean,
important.
At the end of the day, if it's not on my calendar, I'm not doing it. You can tell if something's important to me because it's on my calendar. I'm a big believer in that.
Well, I'm glad we're on your calendar.
You were. Clearly, I didn't put enough great directions in there. But yeah, if it's important to me, it goes on there.
Yeah.
Everything from, like, if I have to remind myself to do something personal,
Yeah.
like it's going to go on there. And if it's business, it goes on there. If it's important, and if it doesn't go on there, the chances of it happening are pretty much less than zero.
Yeah. No, that's great. One more question. I'll have you draw from the mask.
This is beautiful. What is that, velvet?
All right. What'd you get there?
Who was your favorite singer or band in high school?
Ooh.
So I'm a list guy, so this is tough for me because I like to categorize and then give lists. Because I want to qualify rock versus rap. In high school, man, I'm gonna have to say Tupac.
Oh, wow.
It would have to be.
Really?
Here's the crazy part. If it's not Tupac, it's George Strait. So it's one of those two.
Oh, there you
It's
go.
definitely one of those two. So this is why I feel like I have to give, and I could probably give you some really good rock examples too, like maybe Rage or something like that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Tupac song?
Favorite Tupac song? I feel like California Love is the easy one to say.
Yeah, that's a really good one. That's okay.
Probably Can't See Me. Probably Can't See Me.
Okay.
See, I was never into rap, but what about you, George? How about George Strait? What's your favorite song?
Oh.
He's got too many?
Too many to name. Like,
Is that-
I could probably name 50 of his songs that I love. If I had to say one, probably The Chair.
Okay. All
That's
right.
probably my favorite one.
Did he influence you guys moving to Nashville in some form or fashion?
No.
I mean, just if you're a country fan, right?
No,
Whatever.
yeah, no, totally. Anytime we go somewhere, it's 100% for a relationship.
Yeah.
The people that we're in business with, but
Cool.
Yeah, no, George Strait's awesome though.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, if any agents that are listening or watching want to reach out to you directly, how would they do that?
Yeah, so one great way is Facebook, facebook.com/ I think it's like Kevin Kauffman .co or something like that. Find me there. Instagram, Kevin_Kauffman. That was a lot easier to get.
Okay.
And Twitter and Snapchat. I don't know my names there, so I'm sure if you Google,
Well, they can just Google you too.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
And
or
it's KAUFFMAN.
that's it. Yeah, and if somebody wanted to reach out directly, realestate@group4610.com. That comes directly to me and my business partner Fred. We're the only ones that see that email. So
All right.
if someone wanted to email me, that would be the way.
Absolutely. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, no problem.
It's been great info.
Yeah, I love doing this, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, man. All right, well, until next time, this is Jeff Underwood along with,
Joey Sampaga.
and we're all gearing up. 2018 is going to be awesome.
That's right.
All right, take care, guys.
See ya.
Great job.